Alright guys, today I'll be basically going in full depth basics AE, I'll be making a basic edit. I have my scene ready, my audio, and yeah, this is my first YouTube video, so please give me feedback in the comments on what I should do, or if you found this helpful, So yeah, let's get right into it. So basically, I have my audio ready. These little numbers you see, these are helping me where to cut my clips for the beats. And basically how I add these is I drag this blue line with hold left click. Whenever the beat drops, or like a beat hits, you want to have your cursor where it hits and click this thing on the right, the comp marker bin. I don't know it. Yeah, just click that. And basically, I have it on beat. If you play it, you'll see. And then I'm gonna loop it from there on. So basically, what I would do for funny basic edits before the beat drop, you want like a high-speed intro, I guess you could call it, with your hue saturation all the way gray. So like, for instance, I would cut it right before he's about to dance, because that's why I'm a Twixter for my next clip. So basically for this intro, I'm gonna add, well first, I'm gonna pre-comp it, and the way you do this is Control-Shift-C, and you always want to have move all attributes and adjust composition duration when you pre-comp. And then basically after that, you're gonna wanna have your blue marker where you're gonna split it, but before you split it, add Twixter Pro to it. That's what I do in my Twixter Pro. Basic or bin forward, and FPS is out, FPS off, I guess. And then pre-comp it again, and then Control-Alt-T to time remap, and then drag the last keyframe all the way to where we're gonna split it. Control-Shift-D to split, and then backspace the empty spot. Pre-comp it again, and then it should look something like this if finish rendered. Yeah, it kind of looks retarded, but when the edit is finished, it'll look clean. And now what I'll add for this is hue/saturation, and for the master saturation, put it all the way at -100. And yeah, it looks something like this, I guess. And now, for edits, for basic edits, I just showed you how to Twix. Not really how to make a smooth Twixter, but how to make fast time remap. But the key to editing is your scene selection, okay? It ties everything up. It doesn't matter if you have the best effects. If you're using the wrong scenes, it's not gonna look good. So you always want good scene selection. So how to find a good scene selection, I guess, is to have something like that will attract the viewers, Like for me, I'm about to have this guy dancing. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and then stop. And that's gonna be my clip. You're gonna have it at the start. The way you can zoom in, by the way, is with this, or press plus and minus on your keyboard. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna do this a little different, okay? So, I'm gonna add Twix, and then, yeah, I'm gonna add time remap, except this time, it's different. Don't Control-Shift-C right away, don't pre-comp it. What you want to do, hold left click, highlight all of these, press F9, and me personally, I don't have the flow graph, because I'm on 2022 After Effects. So what I do, Shift F3, drag this thing, so when you zoom in, drag this thing, so you can see the full graph. And then, so what you want to do, just do a normal Twix, like rotational AMV. you're gonna have this. I guess like that. Make sure the way you could tell it's a good graph, if it has this little like wave kind of shape. So yeah, that's how you know it's good. Yeah, that looks good. And control S. And the way to get out of this graph is this. Click this little thing that's highlighted the graph, and yeah. And then once you have that timing map set, Control Shift C. Right now it looks kind of smooth, you know. Alright, now I'm gonna zoom out. So yeah, it's basically how you want to Twixtor, you know, have good scene selection and have smart graphs, you know. You don't want to make it look too fast, too slow. Right, and you don't also want to make it look like it's not Twixtor at all. You don't want to make it look normal. You want to have some velo on it. Now, I'm gonna have it like this, and make it go outwards, and then back in. And then, yeah, that's how you Twix, guys. So, yeah, I'll show you how to do next thing soon, like scales and shakes. Alright guys, I finished Twixtoring. One thing I forgot to mention about this clip, when you do it, I forgot to add an effect. It's called radial blur. So you want to do zoom, and then I put 31 because that's what it looks best. But don't copy my amount. Just make it to what looks best for your video, you know. So after done Twixtoring, it should look something like this, maybe. Okay, so you see this black space? This is my opportunity to put a watermark. So what I'm gonna do, click on this clip. So when I add it, it goes above it. So I can have order in my clips. So how to add it? I'm gonna add a text with my watermark. So what I'm gonna do is Control Alt Shift T, and back, and then click on it. Control Shift D. Cut this out. And then what I'm gonna do for my text is when you want to type, make sure to double click it, and you know you'll do it right when this red line pops up. I'm gonna do made by Eldon. You could put the anchor point in the middle if you want. Me personally, I think it's just a waste of time because I'm kind of lazy. But that's just me. So I don't like this font. So what I'm gonna do is highlight it by double clicking it. And oh my goodness, I'm gonna put a random one that I like. Alright, the one that I found was Microsoft Himalaya. Whoops. Yeah. You don't have to use this font. Use whichever one you think is good for you. And you know, this text kind of looks boring. So what I'm gonna do to go at the beginning, go to animation, apply animation preset, and then I'm gonna add text. I'm gonna make the color white, and yeah, you know, basically what you need is just deep glow and drop shadow for a good text. That's really all you need. Mess around with the settings. So yeah, so now when this goes black, it'll look something like this. And of course I'm gonna add scales and shakes, so it looks cleaner. And yeah, so now we're gonna get into scales and shakes. So personally, me, there's many ways to do this. There's obviously better ways than what I do, but I do what I do, and I personally think it looks clean and cool. So what I do is something called double. So basically, how you do double null, you're not gonna add a null. Whoops. You're not gonna add a null on the first clip because it doesn't have any movement. It's just the intro, right? So for the second clip, go on the beginning of it, click on it, Control Shift Alt Y, and that would make a null. So basically, what nulls do say add these things called values, and they make your clips basically animate. They make them good. So how to have these nulls work? Go on your clip and use these swirly things. You want to drag them on top of each other. So clip goes to null, the bottom null, and the bottom null goes to top null. And by the way, if this is not popping up, you want to see this black line right here, right click it, columns, parent and link. That's what it, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, so for the first clip, I'm gonna go in. So I forgot to mention, before you do all these scales and stuff, so your edit doesn't look bad with black stuff in it when you add scales, you're gonna have this effect called motion tile. Basically, makes your edit. It basically saves your edit. Okay. Now the confusing thing about motion tiles is you add these, but you don't want to have them showing. They just basically are there, so the video doesn't have black in it. Okay. And for my settings, I do mirror. So for any setting, you're gonna want to have mirror. Do any number you want. For output height, I do 300 on both. Alright, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. Do not put motion tile on your text, because if you do, it's just gonna look weird. It'll have like a bunch of text popping up. So yeah, do not do that. Alright, so for in clip, you're gonna wanna have, press S by the way, to have scales. So what we're doing is scale, and that makes it like move the clip in and out. So basically, for the end part of the clip, I'm gonna have 120, so it goes in. And in the beginning part of it, I'm gonna have 50 or maybe 70. I'll say 70, but if the graph is too tight, I'll change it to 50. So highlight, like how you do time remap, F9, Shift F3. Okay, now you're gonna have a red graph. So for these graphs, bottom graph is gonna have an in graph, and top graph is gonna have out graph. And you're gonna know if you have an in graph if these dots are on the left side, it's gonna be an out graph if these dots are on the right side. Okay. Now, for normal stuff like rotational styles, you're gonna have the graph maybe like this or like this. But for this type of style, we're not gonna have this. Okay. For like impact styles usually, or flow, you're gonna want this isn't a flow or impact style by the way, but you're gonna want to have a tight graph. Okay, it's gonna look something like this. Obviously that's too tight, so I'm going to 50 and loosening this thing up. Yeah, I'm gonna have it like this, I guess. I know I said it was supposed to be a tight graph, but that's really for impacts, you know, and flows and rotational. You're gonna have this dot down here, impacts tight, you know, for vibe and stuff like the meme edits. You're gonna have it somewhere in the middle, so it goes smooth. Okay. And then for the out graph, alright, my bad guys. For this type of edit, you're not gonna have an out graph. That's mainly for rotationals, because it's gonna go in, then out. You don't want to go out and out. You only want to go out on a top null and then out again in a rotational edit. So yeah, we're only gonna have one null, but it's the same concept as double nulls. So yeah, do the same thing. You're gonna wanna Control Shift Alt Y and it's gonna have a null above this clip. When you Control Shift Alt Y, click the clip, you know, and then link the clips. And by the way, I forgot to mention, how to make a keyframe is you click this time watch, and yes, the value stays there at that moment. So for our graph, you want this end at 100, and this, I normally at the beginning clip, I'll put like at 300. Okay, Shift F9, Shift F3. Go to in graph on the dots on the left. Find the sweet spot, somewhere in the middle, not too loose, not too tight, but somewhere like maybe right here. Alright, that looks too loose kind of, so I'll make it more tight. Alright, maybe something like that. Alright guys, that's how you make in and out graph. And I'm gonna be basically applying that whole thing to this clip, or this edit, my bad. We could go in, out, and then in with the text, and out. So yeah guys, that's how you do scales. The next thing I'm gonna be doing is showing you how to do shakes. Alright guys, I'm back, and I finished the scales. You know, if you did ins and outs with the right graphs, it should look something a little like this. Now I know it doesn't look the best because you know there's not shakes, and I know there's tiles showing like right here, but trust the shakes will hide it. Alright, so now getting into the shakes. How do we add shakes? So now what you want to do, click the null, Control Alt Y, do not press Shift, otherwise it's gonna add a null. Just Control Alt Y. Okay, so now for your shake, me personally, I already have a shake made, and you know you can make your own shake. You're just gonna basically need Twitch or s_dissolve, whichever one. Well, s_dissolve has sapphire, so if you don't have sapphire, probably use Twitch, keyframe the amount, and edit the speed however you want. These are like the values for the shakes. You press U, and mine ends right here, so I'm gonna cut it right here. Now it's gonna look something like this. Alright, it's gonna have a good shake. So now basically what you do, you know, for rotationals, you would have like a shake, then a blur, then a warp down here. But for these type of simple edits, you're just gonna have one shake, Control D to duplicate it, and you're just gonna keep on adding it to all of the clips right at the beginning. Now, if you don't have a shake to add, just search up on YouTube, jug type shakes, vibe type shakes. You know, there's plenty of tutorials out there. But if not, let me know if you want me to make a tutorial for shakes, maybe, you know. And now that the shakes, hopefully this will look good. If not, I'm obviously gonna fix it up. Alright, and it's not even done. Yeah, that looks kinda clean for a simple edit. Yeah, that looks good for a simple edit. You know, I didn't do nothing too special. So now, like, Eldon, you're probably asking, Eldon, what about the rest of the audio? We're gonna loop it. So the way you loop it, you do not want to loop the intro, because it's gonna be offbeat. So the way you loop this is go on the top of the adjustment layer. And by the way, for adjustment layers, I forgot to mention, you don't need to link them, they're automatically there. But so basically what you do to loop is hold shift, click this adjustment layer, and then hold shift, click this clip. So basically from top to bottom of the edit that you're gonna loop, and then pre-comp it. So now it's gonna just be one edit that you could duplicate easy. So click Control D and then line it up over here, and then keep lining it up until the audio fades, you know, until your audio's done or whatever. So yeah, so like let's say the edit's done, it's gonna go on beat again. Alright. Now how do you add CC? You do the same thing, shift click, comp this whole thing, and then add an adjustment layer on this. Control Shift D the end, go to the end, add looks, or I have a preset CC made for me, myself, it's mine. What am I doing? And if this doesn't look good, you know, you don't have to do CC all the time. Yeah, you know, this does not look good, so I'm just gonna have no CC. And for these types of styles, personally, I'm not gonna add 𝗀𝗃𝗵 Pro. Yeah, you're not gonna add that. You basically add those for rotationals. Yeah, but for basic editing like this, I'm not gonna add too good. But what I could do to make it look clean is to add an overlay. So what you need for that is, you know, search up film damage overlay, or if you have BCC, use that. But yeah, me personally, I'm just gonna have my own. I downloaded a film damage overlay because my BCC doesn't work. So yeah, when you add an overlay, when you add an overlay, it's gonna be black. It's not gonna show the edit, obviously. So what you do, we'll first go to the end and cut it off, or just edit your comp settings to 1225. The comp settings 1225. Okay, so now the whole edit is there. So you know the edit's not gonna show, but to have an overlay and have the edit show, go on this columns if it's not already there, and then modes or lighten. Notice how like that sunflower, something that will show that overlay, but it's not gonna have black overlay. And yeah, that's basically the basics of how to make a basic edit, basically the basics of After Effects. I will make more tutorials on how to make like rotationals, but yeah, hopefully you learned something new if you're new to After Effects, and hopefully this helped you out on how to make an edit. Yeah, this is the end of the video. See you guys.